All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 11, 2025. My name is John Kerrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in digital land. Thank you, everybody out there in cyber podcast land. Thank you for finding the value in my content. Appreciate that. I love the subscriptions, all of the kind comments. I appreciate that. That helps inspire me to keep moving on. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 563.50. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five are in daily downtrends. That's Diamond Dow, SPY, NASDAQ 100, that's QQQ, FNGA, all right, and IWM, all right, so that's Russell 2000. All right, so all made lower lows and lower highs, closing under their bearish traps, under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and squeaked out a 10-minute uptrend into the close. Gold and silver, both in daily uptrends, both made lower lows and lower highs, closing under bullish traps under their 17 EMAs. USO in a daily downtrend, made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. UNG, high flyer there, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a downtrend. We like that. Closed near the 103.89 area. SPY max pain for today is 564 with a put to call ratio of 0.65 puts, about 0.65 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. Let's go look at some charts. All right, start off with SPY for the beginning. All right, and we'll take a look at it on a clean chart here on the 10-minute. You can see on the 10-minute chart, SPY, we left off yesterday. We've got the yellow line up over the white line, so we got a little 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday. So what I'm looking for this morning is continuation of that 10-minute uptrend. So I need a green candle, all right? Can't be a spinning top. Can't be a squat little doji like this, all right? Can't be a topping wick candle, all right? So can't be a topping wick, can't be red, can't be a doji, can't be a spinning top. I want something that says that the bulls are stepping in and they're ready to start buying here. All right, so that's the kind of candle I'm looking for, and it's got to be green. All right, so I'm looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend that we left off with on yesterday. All right, so there's SPY on the 10 minutes. Take a look at the 2-hour. 2-hour, we got price action in the 3 EMA. That's the faster moving average. That's the yellow line right here. Okay, underneath the white 8 EMA, underneath a falling red dots, which are the 17 EMA. So price action, you can see 2-hour downtrend. See the space? All right, there's a trend trap right there. Okay, 2-hour downtrend coming into the close yesterday. On the daily chart, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap. See the 3 under the 8, under the trap, under the falling 17. That's the red dots right there. So SPY daily in a downtrend. Price action, see, notice pricing, here's a low. We made a lower low. That's a downtrend. Okay, so we'll take a look now at the game plan. Game plan for today, SPY, okay, my pivot. And by the way, I'm looking for 3 days till expiration or 10 days till expiration options for today. Either 3 or 10, all right? And I want them on Friday because Friday has more open interest, and I like them $2 to $5 out of the money. All right? Those are the options that I'll be looking for either SPY or QQQ. SPY, okay? If we got a 10-minute uptrend over the pivot, because that's where I'm going to be bullish, all right? First entry, all right, 565.90. So over 565.90, I'm interested in being a bull over 565.90. That would be green erases red. red erases green, okay, that would be under 558.70. Okay, so underneath 558.70 is where I want to be a bear. Under 558.70 over 565.90. So that's our game plan for today. Other than that, if I find a 10-minute uptrend, all right, that's going away from VWAP, in other words, it's breaking away. See, here's a 10-minute downtrend. See how it's breaking away from VWAP? Lots of opportunity there on those trends that break away from VWAP. Okay, so I'm looking for a 10-minute trend. If it's between the two lines over VWAP, I'll play that bullish, or a 10-minute downtrend, all right, that hasn't quite hit the pivot yet or hasn't quite hit the entry, all right, I will play that to the short side. All right, so over, I'll be bullish. Under, I'll be bearish. So I'll be looking for 10-minute trends between these numbers, all right, to play to the upside and downside. Okay, they just have to be over VWAP or under VWAP. They got to break the rubber band candles. All right, I don't want any candles attached to VWAP. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ game plan, you can see I like 3 days till expiration options and 10 days till expiration Friday options. $2 to $5 out of the money. Okay, you've got green erases red over 482.27. Red erases green under 471.53. The pivot 475.28. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. I'm looking for 10-minute trends that are not attached to VWAP right here, either above or under. All right, those will be playable events for me. I just can't have any. I don't want to be caught up in chop. That's what I don't want to be caught up into. All right, so there's the QQQ game plan. If we look at QQQ on the daily chart, you can see lower high, lower low, closing under a trap. Under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. You can see that's down here. QQQ is bearish. All right, take a look at SPY one more time. SPY is neutral. All right, notice QQQ is down here in the lower third. SPY right here at the midpoint. Different positions within the quad lines of their price advancements. All right, so SPY just neutral. QQQ. Okay, down here in the lower third, that's just bearish right there. FNGA. We follow the FNGA because that carries the heavyweights within the QQQ and the SPY. Okay, FNGA, lower low, lower high, closing under bearish trap, under the 17 EMA. Okay, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint, that's also bearish. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, price action, same thing. Everybody got the same candle. Lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, down here at the midpoint, that's just neutral. Let's take a look at IWM. Again, same candle. Lower high, lower low, under the trap, under the 17, under the uptrend line, okay, under the midpoint, okay, that's bearish. Okay, anytime you go up, you give it up and more, that's bearish. Okay, if you go up and you hold, that's bullish. All right, go up and hold, that's bullish. You go up, you give it up, that's just neutral. So there's IWM down here in quadrant 1, that's in bearish territory. Okay, let's take a look at technicals, T2122. You can see we came off of the midpoint here of the T2122. All right, came right through seller's chop zone, bypassed the sell zone straight into the oversold zone down here. All right, so we could spend a couple more days down here, just a forewarning, just because we got here and we bounced out of there doesn't mean it's all over. It may be. We'll see what happens. we could spend the day down here in the oversold zone. All right, you can see price action set a series of on the 15-minute chart, lower high, lower low. See the lower high and another lower low. So we'll find ourselves probably today in either the sell zone or the oversold zone. Maybe the seller's chop zone. I don't see it happening, but I do see one thing going on here, and that is a higher low from the low we had here. So it's a possibility we wind up camping out in the seller's chop zone. We'll see what happens. That's T21.22. T21.23, you can see beginning of the day to the end of the day. This is the 15-minute chart, selling from the beginning to the end. Again, we're not filling any bearish traps. All right, so the bears have definitely got control. All right, we're caught underneath the falling 200 SMA. All right, so price action is making lower lows. See, here's a low. We're making lower lows. All right, so that's bearish. All right, we're making lower lows. T21.23 3-bar chart. Again, we're making lower lows and lower highs. 3 more red candle bars there on the 3-bar. Still caught underneath this 200 SMA on the 3-bar chart. Okay, coming into a prior high right there. This is a prior all-time high right over there. So we'll see if we get any price action bouncing up out of there. There's T21.23. FNGA. All right, you can see here selling from the beginning of the day. All right, almost to the final hour, and then it looks like they just got tired of selling, and it was just a rubber band bounce back right back up to here. So you can see price action pulling back up to VWAP here. So there was some green candles at the end of the day. All in all, bearish gap down. We're not filling any bearish gaps, so no sign of the bulls yet. All right, there's the falling 200 SMA, price action caught underneath that. Also caught underneath this pink line, which represents the all-time high anchored VWAP, caught underneath the uptrend line. Nothing bullish happening in FNGA yet. All right, so there's FNGA. Let's take a look at a few sectors. Okay, first sector we'll look at XLE. It's our energy sector. Energy sector had a pretty decent day yesterday as compared to the rest of the market. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap, but under the falling 17, under this 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right here. Okay, underneath this downtrend line 1 and downtrend line 2, and underneath the midpoint. Okay, so just kind of neutral through here. Why is it neutral? Well, it goes up and it gives it up. It goes down and it gives it up. Okay, so it's going down, it gives it up, goes up and it gives it up. So just hanging out here at the midpoint, that's just neutral still. All right, so that's XLE. Take a look at a few. Let's take a look at natural gas. Natural gas, another high flyer. Higher low, higher high, closing over trap, over the 17 EMA, over this 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, over the pliers tops. Okay, trying to take out the tweezer tops over here. Okay, so there's UNG. All right, up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay, over the trap, over the 17, over the 12-month high anchored VWAP. See how price action is holding up over the 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. See, it doesn't have to stay in one spot or consolidate. Actually, I like it when it consolidates because that means that builds a launch pad for the next blast off to the upside. Okay, they're putting in a series of higher lows, higher highs, another higher low, and a higher high. Actually, I think it's kind of hot right now. I think it needs to cool off. I'd like to see it cool off for about a month. Really, I'd like to see it consolidate and build another nice launch pad platform up here. We'll see what happens. It's very likely and probably a good candidate for a bounce back down to the midpoint. All right, so we'll keep an eye on UNG. Getting kind of toppy up here. See the wicks at the top. Getting a little toppy up here. We'll see what happens though. It could still keep going. All right. It's that possibility. It could still keep going. We'll see what happens. I think it's a little hot right now. Take a look at USO. USO, quite the other spectrum over here. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. Okay, underneath the falling 17, that's the red dots. Underneath the midpoint, okay, underneath the 3-year high anchored VWAP. If we back out, this is our 3-year high anchored VWAP. Zoom back in here. Price action underneath this uptrend line. Okay, down here in the lower third, that's bearish. USO is bearish. Okay, let's take a look at silver and gold. Gold, another high flyer here. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing under a trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, but way up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Making a lower high and making a higher low. Higher low here, lower high. Who knows? Bulls may be inspired to make a higher high soon. We'll see what happens. All right. I do like the fact that they're up here and consolidating somewhere between the last low and the prior and the all-time high. Okay, they're consolidating right around the the 50-yard line. So there's a chance of this making another higher high or another new all-time high. There's GLD. Let's take a look at SLV. Okay, also in an uptrend, consolidating near the upper third, but just neutral. All right, they lost it. They came down here, so they're neutral. If they close in the upper third, I consider them bullish. Right now, SLV just neutral. Price action for yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under a trap, under the 17, over this 12-year high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so price action just neutral. But let me just say this. This is a nice bull flag beginning. If that's the bottom of the bull flag, that's a nice look. And you can see price action ripping back up to the tops today. That's a nice look for SLV. I'm bullish on it, but yesterday it did not close in the upper third, so it's just neutral right here. But I am bullish on silver. I like that. So there's silver on the daily chart. Let's take a look at a few sectors. SMH, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17. It's bearish down here, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Under the midpoint, it's bearish. Okay, you move up, you give it up, and more, that's bearish. Let's take a look at XLK. Technology sector, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint, okay? Almost in the lower third, all right? So just neutral, all right? But they're not far from being bearish, closing in the lower third down here. They're very close. There's XLK. Let's take a look at XLF. XLF was bullish, closing in the upper third. No longer are they bullish. Lower high, lower low, closing under a trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, not in the upper third. XLF just neutral. Okay, let's take a look at IYT. Transports, lower high, lower low, closing under a trap, under the 17, under all-time high anchored VWAP. Right here, it's the pink line, under the uptrend line, under the midpoint. They're just neutral. They go up and they give it up. They go up and they give it up. Okay, so just neutral on transports. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. All right, let's start off with the dollar. Okay, dollar in a downtrend. We like that. Weak dollar helps us sell our goods and services overseas and to our foreign neighbors. All right, lower high, lower low, that's a downtrend. Price action closed, this little red green doji right here, right about 103.89 area. Okay, so we like that. Dollar in a nice downtrend. All right, let's take a look at SPY Max Pain. SPY Max Pain, this is for the options that expire today at 4:15. Okay, Max Pain for 564. All right, with about 0.70 puts, for each call that expires today. Okay, that's max pain for today. On the earnings calendar. All right, for today, and today's Tuesday, just some familiar names, but nothing here that's going to move the markets. Okay, I don't even think if Microsoft came out with great earnings, the market would rally. Adobe, 189 billion, they report tomorrow night. Okay, that's Wednesday evening. Thursday, okay, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. Friday, really? All right. Wants to be difficult. That's fine. Let's move on to the next one. Yesterday, for economic events, not much happening there on Monday. Today, what do we got? NFIB Small Business Optimism Index 6.0, 6 o'clock this morning. Jolts at 10. Again, and after that, light day. I'm sorry if we got disconnected there, but I will have the recording. The main event for today, for this week, CPI, that's the inflation index, that's going to come out at 8:30 on Wednesday. Got a petroleum report at 10:30, all right, on Wednesday. After that, light day. Thursday, jobless claims 8:30. PPI final demand 8:30 on Thursday. And we've got the gas report at 10:30. Friday, consumer sentiment at 10 and a rig count at 1. And that's it for the week, all right, unless we can get the earnings to come in. And we'll try it one more time. All right, for Thursday, again, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. Friday, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. Monday, familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. So no big earnings other than Adobe that happens Wednesday night. And don't forget the main event this week is CPI. And CPI occurs on Wednesday morning at 8:30. So you'll probably want to be hedged for your overnight position this evening. All right, so make sure you're hedged if you want to be hedged for for tomorrow morning's event for CPI. All right, I'll take questions in the room. If there's no questions, I'll go ahead and render my video. I will return at about 9:15, and we will open up the markets here.